At the turn of the century, Pakistan had the highest GDP per capita when compared with India, Bangladesh, and Vietnam. 20 years later, it is at the bottom of the group. Political upheaval, a violent insurgency fed by the war in Afghanistan, and the inability of successive governments to carry out reforms are to blame for this decline. Today, a polarized political environment and elite intrigue among civilian, judicial, and military institutions has made sustainable economic growth and reforms that much more unlikely. The COVID-19 pandemic has further sharpened the challenge. 2 years of crises for Khan. When Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan entered office in August 2018,
पाकिस्तान का हामी और वफादार रहूँगा कि बहैसियत वज़ीर आज़म पाकिस्तान मैं अपने फ़राइज़ व कारहाय मनसबी ईमानदारी अपनी इंतहाई सलाहियत और वफादारी के साथ इस्लामी जमहूरिया पाकिस्तान के दस्तूर और कानून के मुताबिक और हमेशा पाकिस्तान की खुदमुख्तारी सालमियत इस्तेकाम यकजहती और खुशहाली की खातिर अंजाम दूंगा
Pakistan's economy was facing twin deficits. The country's foreign exchange reserve was running low and its fiscal deficit had reached breaking point. A return to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, along with bilateral support from countries like China and Saudi Arabia, was necessary to stabilize the economy. Within a few months of coming to power, Khan, a charismatic populist who had derided Pakistan's addiction to debt, famously saying that he would rather commit suicide than beg for money, had to reverse course and seek international help. The economic upheaval in those early months of Khan's government led to declining economic growth, devaluation of the currency, double-digit inflation, and sky-high interest rates. The government's initial attempts to fend off an IMF bailout did not help. Asad Amar resigned from the job of finance minister in April 2019 after losing Khan's trust. His replacement, the technocrat Abdul Hafiz Sheikh, who also served as finance minister in the Pakistan People's Party, PPP-led government from 2010 to 2013, was brought in to negotiate and execute the IMF bailout. Less than a year later, the COVID-19 pandemic dealt a body blow to Pakistan's economy. Lockdowns in response to the health crisis turned economic growth negative, a first in decades. The Khan government sought debt relief and secured an additional $1.3 billion from the IMF. The government rolled out to Rs. 1.2 trillion stimulus package. Cash transfer programs were expanded to protect the most vulnerable segments of society. While a significant portion of the total stimulus included already budgeted spending, and more than Rs. 500 billion remained unutilized, the government's prompt response eased the pain, particularly for the most vulnerable. Additionally, the State Bank of Pakistan sharply cut interest rates and provided monetary stimulus to businesses. The biggest relief, however, was provided by the state's ability to effectively slow down the spread of the coronavirus. Doomsday scenarios did not materialize, and despite the political bickering, particularly between Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf (PTI) party-led federal government and the opposition PPP-led Sindh government, effective cooperation and collaboration through the National Command and Operations Center flattened the curve, slowing the spread of the coronavirus. As a result, business confidence has returned and economic activity is slowly picking up. These, however, are only early signs of recovery for an economy that grew by 1.9% in 2019 and shrank by 0.4% in 2020. While some would like to argue that a V-shaped recovery is taking hold in Pakistan, the reality is that while the economy has stabilized, it has a long and tortuous path toward achieving sustainable growth. For more news and information, subscribe to our channel.